And welcome back to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince here with you. It is our weekly session for some baseball talk, and we are being joined right now by Mr. Olin Parker, also known as OP. How you doing this week, my man?
I'm good, Mike. How you guys doing?
Well, I dare not complain, man. I'm trying a way to get my Panthers to wade out the water. Rough weekend from McNeese, but well, we're getting close to this regular season play, and so we'll see how things fare out this weekend when they take on Alcorn.
Right. Well, looking back at the weekend that they had, they kind of struggled on Friday and Saturday. On Sunday, they showed a little life, scoring 10 runs. Probably to just give up the walk-off in the last inning. Gave up 3 runs at the bottom of the night. But they did show a lot of improvement, so hopefully, facing SWAC teams, they can perform a little better. On the weekend, they gave up 30 runs and only scored 10, and only got 1 hit on Saturday. So hopefully it's changing a little bit for them, Mike. Hopefully get the SWAC player and make a difference.
Well, yeah, they got one more game this week leading up to the Alcorn opener in Lorman, Mississippi. They'll take on Incarnate Word. And that traditionally has been a challenge for the Panthers. But once again, you play outside your conference and try to build you up to the ones that count the most, right? And so if you get on a hot streak, pretty much people forget about what you did outside the conference until it comes time for regional play. So hopefully the Panthers can get some things going. If you look at the schedule traditionally when it comes to conference play, they'll open up, as we mentioned, against Alcorn, but then they'll follow up with University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And within the past few seasons or so, they've had marginal success against those two programs.
Right. First opponent in SWAC, Alcorn, they're not performing well at all. They played the NAIA school a few weeks ago and got 10-run ruled twice, losing 3 of the 4 games. Pine Bluff, been kind of up and down. They played Mississippi Valley, lost 2 out of 3. So I'm optimistic about how good they are right now. But like you said, getting SWAC play, everything's equal.
No doubt about it. Now, speaking of Valley, they've been somewhat of a subtle surprise thus far in the season. I know you got personal ties with the head coach there. What do you think is the turnaround for Valley at this stage?
Well, I think they got a younger coach who's enthusiastic about baseball, who they can really look up to and see that he can still get something done. He's giving their passion, and the kids are playing hard. And I just think, once you get that recipe for success like that, things are going to trend upward.
Okay, very good. Now, throughout the rest of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, we know that Grambling has been kind of peaking in Valley and so far, and some other schools. So if you could bring us up to speed, what's going on throughout the rest of the conference?
Well, Grambling, they played Little Rock, Arkansas. They were swept. Still, the variables are not adding up. You gave up 30 runs and only scored 14. On Saturday, you only had 1 hit. But, you got a veteran coach there. I don't think that these things should be happening, especially playing mid-majors like, teams like Arkansas Little Rock. Texas Southern, they're on a 4-game winning streak, but they've only played 1 D1 opponent. Texas Corpus Christi, they won that game 14-13. They played in the high school for 3 games. So they won all 3 of those by a landslide. They got Houston Tillerson for 2 games, which is Coach Rob's alma mater. And then they'll go into SWAC play. That's kind of how Rob's always done his schedule. So I think they're right on point to where they need to be. Southern, they had a rough weekend. They were swept by Incarnate Word. So they're playing 500 ball if they actually. They're in most of the games, only falling off at the end. So that's what I got right now.
Okay, so as they say, it's about to get real, OP, starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the old song is, I'm as real can get, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, look, we always try, to not only bring up what's going on throughout the conference, but touch bases on some baseball tips and knowledge and this, that, and the other. And we know that there has been a discussion with the pitching clock, and you were an advocate for that, on how it has helped these games to accelerate even faster. But I want to talk about the art of base stealing this week, OP. It's amazing. Base stealing, as crazy as this might sound to some, is not really about how fast you can run. It's really about, do you understand how to run the bases? Do you agree with that terminology?
Absolutely. I think most coaches are putting more emphasis on the X's and O's instead of the base running. They elect more to bunt a guy over, do a hit and run, instead of a guy straight stealing. It's somewhat effective, but for the most part it's not, because why would you have your first two guys be speed burners and don't attempt stolen bases? For most clubs, they're trying to be traditional on what other people do. I know in the past, Mike Robb, 1 through 9 was stealing. He better be ready, and Jackson State will like that also. But I've seen Jackson State get away from that. Instead of going back to what you do well, they say swag school's supposed to have the guys with the speed. I'd like to see more stolen bases. If you look at Mississippi Valley, that's what they're doing right now.
Okay, and one thing about speed does create chaos, but being smart and knowledgeable of when to steal. And as a coach yourself, do you have a preference of, if you got a guy who has the green light at all times, but do you try to teach when is the opportune time to steal, and a guy who you have to release instead of giving them the green light? Do you have a certain scenario or pitch count that you'd like to go on?
Oh, definitely. Pitch counts are always a good time to go. Also, you got to find out if it's a left-hand pitcher. Is he a reader? Is he a picker? On righties, all my guys on high leg kick, go. So everybody has the green light that I coach. You just got to understand. If he's doing a high leg kick, that's 5 steps. He want a guy running a 7-2. So that's just the keys that I have right now. I got a few others that I won't share. I may end up coaching one day and somebody might understand what I'm doing. But
man.
He's going to give you an opportunity to run because he can't focus solely on you. Guy throwing a lot of breaking balls. There's opportunities to run. Pitchers and creatures of habit. Some guys go fastball, breaking balls. So second pitch, you could run.
So you're not going to give up none of the family trade secrets, man?
No, sir. Right now, we're topping the nation of stolen bases. So I don't think that'll be wise to share why. There may be a nuance there from one of
I do understand. We're talking with Olin Parker, baseball consultant guru here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Panthers and the Southwest Athletic Conference getting ready for conference play this coming weekend. And speaking of things coming to play, how are things going with your program in Baton Rouge, sir?
Well, Mike, it was a great weekend so far. We've won 4 straight games. Friday we won. We had a doubleheader on Saturday. We won both games versus Triton College. They were kind of nail-biters, but we pulled through. So our last 6 games, we're 5 for 6 with the doubleheader coming up today against Triton. And then on Saturday, we'll play East Central.
Okay. Well, look, continued success to you, my man. And as always, we definitely appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come and share some baseball talk here with us at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And, of course, I'm going to give you some closing thoughts and comments as we wrap this segment up.
Well, like you said, Mike, this weekend starts swag play. So hopefully we see some different results from, some teams that we mentioned. And anytime you need to reach me, Olin Parker 65 at yahoo.com.
All right, he is the man with the plan, Brother OP. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, reminding you guys that you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Don't forget our website is obnradio.com, and just in case you have one of those smart speakers, all you have to do is say play the latest episode of The Mike Prince Show, and just like that, you'll have everything that you need. It's time for me to exit stage left, so until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.
We are the station designed with you in mind. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, where we are serving the community through faith and athletics since 2002. We are located in Prairie View, Texas, where we are dedicated to serving the local community with sporting events, church services, and information. You're invited to tune in and to join us each Sunday morning for Temple of Refuge Ministries live broadcast, Building the Kingdom One Soul at a Time, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. Each Monday through Friday, tune in to hear the Mike Prince Show as he covers the world of HBCU sports and beyond. This show has been the driving force for daily information when it comes to HBCU athletics. And tune in to listen to the SWAC Zone each Saturday mornings. The Open Mic Broadcast Network covers Little League, high school, and college athletics. We also broadcast local community parades and events. And you can check us out on YouTube for our latest content. If you would like to help us support our broadcast, you may do so by making a donation at www.obnradio.com. We are the station designed with you in mind. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, where we are serving the community through faith and athletics since 2002.
And welcome back to the Open Mic Broadcast Network. It is another opportunity for us to speak with the guru himself. That is none other than Coach Van Pettaway. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, Dr. Prince. This is another day that he's given all of us, and I'm just glad to be here and to look forward to the end of the SWAC basketball season.
Yes, sir. It is definitely one to remember. What a run by the number 8 seed from the men's division and the number 7 seed from the women's division with what Pine Bluff was able to accomplish, and the fact that Southern was able to stand tall against Jackson State, man. And you know what? I want to take this time right now and tell you thank you, along with you, Joshua Davis, and Lee Hall. 14 games in 4 days, and it was worth every weight in gold, sir, and I appreciate you being a part of the team.
Well, I was just happy to be a part of it, and I want to thank you like you've been doing every day, every year, getting the word and the message out there, because like I tell you, it's sorely needed. Our people need to hear it, they need to see it, and they need to receive it, and you're doing that. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what a tournament.
Great tournament. Great tournament.
I don't even know where to begin, Coach, because each night was something unique.
Yep.
and something that you're going to, wow, this actually happened. And I guess we know what Texas Southern does. They had the DNA of being, I call them, the tournament Tigers. You know, they just show up at tournament time.
No,
but for
hold up. It's the Texas Invitation. Because if it's not Texas Southern, it's your Prairie View Panthers. It's the Texas Invitation.
Yeah, well, I will take that. But look, of late, it's been the Johnny Jones Invitational.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. And he has really been doing his thing. But I got to go to the women's side.
Yeah, we'll start there. Yeah,
I'm still spellbound that Southern was able to do what they did effectively. Not what you know. Sometimes, Coach, you could say it was kind of flukish or lucky. They controlled that floor of that game, sir.
Right, from start to finish, they did an outstanding job. But it was just a great tournament for both the men and the women, and it started Wednesday. It started Wednesday when Grambling State took out Bethune-Cookman, 87 to 72. Then Texas Southern took out Alcorn State, 66 to 62. Then that led us up to Thursday, where Jackson State took out your Panthers 62 to 60 in a great basketball game. And then Alabama A&M. I am so sorry. I'm looking at the men's scores. I'm looking at the men's scores instead of the ladies. I apologize.
It's okay. I
apologize. So,
the results going to say the same.
No. This is how we did it Wednesday on the women's side. Arkansas Pine Bluff had the first upset of the tournament.
Right.
They beat my Bulldogs 62 to 55. Then Jackson State took care of Grambling in a close game, 59 to 50. Then that led us up to Thursday, where Alabama State beat Bethune-Cookman's women 70 to 61, and then Southern took out your Prairie View Panthers 64 to 37.
Took out coaches being nice. They really physically handled my Panthers.
Yes, they did.
It was almost like taking a kid against a grown man in a fight, and it was like they didn't even stand a chance.
Right. We were trying to figure out what was wrong with Prairie View. I'm serious. They just were not themselves. They were slow walking the entire game, and we just couldn't figure it out.
Well, I had a couple.
People.
I had a couple people from PV Nation said that it looked like they quit on the floor.
I'm not sure if they quit because it was that way the first half. See, if they quit, they would have, late in the game, they played the exact same way in the first half. They were out of the game by halftime. So it was like, I don't know if they didn't get their normal routine in or what, but something was missing that you couldn't put your hand on it. You could not put a finger on what was happening to them. It's like they were slow walking. And in coaching, we either messed up our routine or they were travel laws. Something was amiss because that was not a Sandy Pugh coach team.
Okay.
Something was amiss. And that's from a coach's perspective now. There was something amiss because I've seen this team over the years. I've seen this team this year and in person. So there was something going on, and it could have been their routine. I just know it was not the same team. And then that led us up to Friday, where Arkansas Pine Bluff had an upset where they beat Alabama State 71 to 66. And then here comes the shocker that was heard around the world. The Southern Jaguars beat Jackson State 65 to 64 on a shot that ended up being the number one play of the day.
Yes,
on ESPN.
sir.
The shot that was heard around the world. They put them down. And that was a great end to Friday evening. And that led us up to Championship Saturday, where Southern beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 62 to 53. Now, this is what's been unique about Southern's run. First, they had to take on the two-headed monsters of Jackson State. In other words, I'm talking about their post play, where they got 6'6" and 6'5" in the post. Then they come up against Pete and Davenport, who are both well over 6'3" at Arkansas Pine Bluff. And they have one post player that gets a lot of minutes. And she ended up fouling out. But I'm going to tell you, this was one of the best performances I've seen by a individual. She battled post players for 2 or 3 days. That young lady might still be, and her name is Raven White. Raven White probably is still resting somewhere because she had to battle. the entire tournament because she was always the undersized post player. But she had the heart of a champion. And they were able to pull it out, win, get the automatic bid, and now they are on to the NC2A. They face Sacred Heart in the first four. And I think that's outstanding. They're going in as a 16th seed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it is definitely an electric time in the atmosphere for this NCAA tournament. It doesn't get any better, both men and women's side of the bracket. So this is what everybody lives to see, Coach.
Right. This is the time of the year that everything you do in the summer, the preseason, it leads up to this time of the year where you play in your conference tournament. You fight to get that bid for postseason play, whether it be the NC2A or the NIT. And I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for Southern University. And I just want to send a shout out to all the schools that participated. I think they represented the SWAC well. We had tremendous games every day, every session, and the coaches and the players are to be commended.
Yes, sir, indeed. And we know that as a result, Jackson State will get an NIT bid, and we wish them well as well. But it was, as you mentioned, truly something to behold the entire tournament from first to last day.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yep. And then now we'll go on to the men's side. I will correct myself. We're on the men's side now. Grambling State beat Bethune-Cookman 87-72, and they played like they were the number 2 seed. And then Texas Southern started the tournament with an upset, beating Alcorn State 66-62. Alcorn State made a furious rally at the end, but it fell short. Texas Southern advances. And then on Thursday, Prairie View A&M fell to Jackson State, the Cinderella team of the tournament, 62 going into the tournament, 62-60. And then my Bulldogs beat Southern for the third time, 77-63. And that led up to Friday, where Texas Southern sent my Bulldogs home with a 74-61 win. And Grambling beat Jackson State 78-69, which set up the showdown between Texas Southern and Grambling. Grambling, the number 2 seed, co-champs of the regular season. The team that everybody thought was going to walk away with the title. Texas Southern beat them 61-58 in an outstanding basketball game. And
no doubt.
Yeah, it was a great game. The crowd was energized from start to finish, and that leads us up to the postseason play. Texas Southern will take on Fairleigh Dickinson in Dayton on Wednesday, and also Alcorn State will be in the NIT. They pick on the University of North Texas. That game will also be on Wednesday. Texas Southern game is at 5:30 Central Time, and Alcorn State will be playing at 7. So we will be able to get both games. And I think that's just great for the SWAC. I was a little disappointed that nobody picked up Grambling.
Right.
I was hoping that the NIT would, since they had tied, would pick them up, but they did not.
Well, look, this is when you missed the CIT tournament, right?
Right. And see, with all the cancellations last year, or the people turning us down, and Southern being one of them from the SWAC, they decided not to put on a tournament this year. And this would have been the year, because when you look at the MEAC, Norfolk State is still looking for a place to be. And the CIT would have been a perfect place for Grambling and Norfolk State, who both had outstanding seasons, but got upset in the conference tournament.
Well, do you think this would be a pulse for the return of the CIT?
Right. Well, we're going to talk about it after at the Final Four. We'll meet and we'll discuss where we go from here. It was very disappointing to have as many schools as we did last year to decline bids. You know, normally you got schools that are calling you to be a part of tournaments, but for some reason, now some of it was because of the direction that the university and the athletic department wanted to go. They certainly didn't want to reward a coach who they were not going to extend a contract to, or they may have other plans for their program. So I can see that in a sense as to why a school would deny a bid or not accept a bid, rather, for postseason play.
Okay. So there's always some underwater currents that go on that people don't have privilege to see, but it was a shocker, at least to us, because we really are fans of that CIT and hopefully the return, because this is where those teams are feeling that itch, if you would, just to get another chance to become a champion, and we'll keep a pulse on that. Now, with all that being established and everything, Coach, it's time for this March Madness to go into its high gear. Who and how do you see your Final Four being in Nebraska?
Wow. Well, I'm going to be honest. This year, I just think it's wide open. I don't understand how we've had so many different number one teams and no team just stood out and just ran away with the race this year. I think they set a record for having number ones getting beat and being replaced. Well, the top four seeds are Alabama, Purdue, Houston, and Kansas. Now, out of that group, I'm going to say that Purdue will make it to the Final Four. I love my Crimson Tide, so I'm going to put them in the Final Four. I think Houston will make it to the Final Four, and here's why I think it gets thick. I don't think in the West that Kansas is going to make it. I'm putting UCLA in the West. So that means I would have UCLA, Houston, Purdue, and Alabama in my Final Four.
Okay. Well, they're calling that Western division the Death Valley because it's thick from top to bottom.
Yes, it is.
And so they're gonna figure this thing out. Well, me being an old Midwest boy, I'm looking at my number 7 seed Missouri Tigers. I don't think they're going to do much, but I'll root for them as far as they can go.
Right. Well, Alabama took care of them in leading up to the.
Yeah. I know, Coach. Coach. And I knew you was going to bring it up when I brought that up, but it is what it is. But here is something, Coach, that maybe you can help me figure out, and I've been trying to figure this out since a little boy. When you look at the coach's attire, what and when was the written rule that coaches, male or female, wear suits, or as we would call them, Sunday best, on the court side?
Well, I don't know, but I came up that way. Every college coach I've ever had, they dressed to the nine. They came with coat and ties. And it was always a fashion show. So when I got into coaching, I followed suit. I did the exact same thing. I thought that was the only way to go, was to wear a coat and tie. But when COVID hit, it's like they turned the light off. Like, we don't need that anymore. We are going to dress like we're in practice, because that's what they're wearing on the sideline. It's practice gear. What you see on the sidelines today, that's what we practice in. And I think that the coaches feel more comfortable now, because you got very few coaches that will put on a coat and tie now. Almost everybody is going exclusively to athletic gear. And when Jay Wright, who's the guy that has won the Best Dressed Award for the last 15 years for the nation now. They always have this. They always they pick the best dress in each conference first. Then they have a national runoff. I knew nobody was going to beat Jay because, number one, Jay's Taylor has his footprint all over suits all across the nation. But I think he puts a little extra into Jay Wright's wardrobe.
Okay.
Because he from Villanova, and he's retired now. But Jay just retired this past year. Now he's on to doing television work. But here's the thing: when Jay Wright, who would come out every day dressed to the nine, when he went to athletic gear, there was a poll out to whether or not coaches felt Jay would turn to the athletic gear. He did, and it was also custom made. His athletic gear was custom made. So, at Villanova and his Taylor, they had it down pat. So I don't know if they're going to ever get back to the coaches in suits, but I thought that set us apart. I took pride in making sure that I represented my university and myself well by making sure that I was dressed. I even, for a few years, I even went the Taylor route. In fact, the Taylor's in Houston. But I don't know if they'll ever get back to that. And I had to. I was lucky enough one year to be voted the best dressed in the SWAC. And that made Coach Stribling, when that came out, when it was announced, Coach Stribling called me and said, "How can they put you ahead of me?" Because Coach Stribling has his own way. So he did his thing, but I wanted the best dress one year. I remember when Coach Joe, when he was at Southern, he was best dressed one year and had that photo shoot in GQ. Now I never got that far, but that was that's an amazing thing, and I just felt like when basketball coaches dress, we set ourselves apart from coaches in the other sports. And then for us to go to athletic gear now, I just don't like it. And I still think that if I was coaching, I may not put on a tie, but I'm going to have a jacket and dress pants on, dress slacks.
Had that Mike Davis look?
Right. Yeah, I think I would do that versus just all athletic gear. I don't think I would do it if I was coaching.
Well, you and I are going to be the opposite end. Yeah, we're going to be on the opposite end because I'd be dressed as comfortable and casual as I want to because all you're going to do is sweat the clothes out, Coach, over there coaching on the side.
Hold on. Not only do you have a clothing bill, you got a cleaning bill too now. Yeah.
Right. And if you know, like I know, you got a suit to put on after the game because you didn't sweat it the other one out so bad.
Yeah, after the game, that's when I put the athletic gear on. Because we're finna climb on that bus in most cases.
Right. So tomato. I think you ought to be comfortable all the way around. But the most comfortable feeling at all is winning, right? It don't matter if you got on a tie, coach's attire, or a suit, or a potato sack. As long as I'm winning, that's all that matters. Well, once again, you have opened up my understanding on why coaches do what they do, because I've always wondered that. Man, these coaches be dressed, and you look at a football coach, baseball coaches wear uniforms, soccer coaches wear attire, athletic gear, and you go around, who made these basketball coaches king of the dress code? I just always wondered. So I thank you again, sir, for bringing some clarity to this old guy. Well, Coach, basketball season for the SWAC is just about to the end. And I know you're going to enjoy this March Madness, but before you know it, it'll be football season all over again, sir.
Yeah, and I hope that you and I will get a chance to grade the teams again. I hope we have that opportunity. So if we do, sharpen your pencil.
My pencil stays sharp, and the only reason that we don't have that is because you say, I don't feel like it. How about that? Oh, man. Well, Coach, let me give you some closing thoughts and comments on this segment, sir.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself this year with basketball. And Dr. Prince, you do an amazing job with getting everything out. And I just want to continue to encourage you to give the people what they need. And you're doing that. So you know that you have your assignment. Follow through, sir. You're doing an outstanding job.
Thank you very much, sir. You too continue on your assignment, and we'll continue to do our part from each end of the spectrum. He being in Alabama, I'm being in Texas by way of Missouri. You know, so it is what it is, and it's SWAC all day, all night, from sun up to sundown. We're going to do what we do. He is the guru, Coach Van Pettaway, and I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Remind you that you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Visit the website, obnradio.com. And if you have one of those smart speakers, all you have to do is say, play the latest episode of The Mike Prince Show, and you'll have everything that you need. So until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.